So today we are going to be looking through all the FUT Birthday content from Season Pass, Objectives, SBCs, and Team 1 and also Team 2. It's very easy for quite a lot of them, and there is a lot to go with. And also, we have just been announced that the Team of the Season Premier League live voting is now in session. As we know, we've got the Immortal Greatness or something like that, and the UEFA Dream Chasers coming up soon. We are going to be very close to Team of the Season, so half of these players, to be honest, you're going to be getting rid of them by Team of the Season anyway. But we will go over them and kind of go over the choices. The SBCs in themselves ignore every amount of advertising there is at the moment. There is so many. We've got Adeyemi coming in at 540. We've got Yaya Toure at 2.4 in fact. I don't think we've had Essien as an SBC that we can chuck in there, but realistically we've had very much just the normal players pop in there, more so than anything. We then have had Ethan Mbappe for the two different versions. We've had him as a centre mid and a striker. I'm kind of leaving the kind of FUT Birthday cards out for the moment. We've got Future, we've got Tapsoba, Pop, and then even from Team 1, we've got Alex Scott, Kai Havertz as the others, as well as then a big CR7 also. Now, kind of going back to what we already saw last week with these, I think Havertz most definitely puts himself into a very usable category. Striker-wise, I would say just about. Now, I believe last week there was a few people saying that Havertz isn't necessarily, I don't think I put him in top meta, but saying that he weren't necessarily an absolute GOAT in this, but I think he's still pretty decent. The 5-star adds a lot. Obviously, they anticipate the long ball mixed in with his height, and I know necessarily in terms of stats, or at least his play styles, he's not necessarily got the greatest deal, but I still think it's not a bad deal for him. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for Eldorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics, and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with Eldorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. But then we do come into the brand new ones, obviously with Adeyemi and also Yaya Toure in himself. We've got 540 for him. He has only got the quick step, which I really don't understand why they've only got one playstyle with him. I thought he definitely is in the deserving category of 2. I don't know if that's a glitch or something they've gone amiss with him, but naturally he does need 2. Even so, still a very useful card, even just with the quick step. At least it is one that is very, very usable. Yaya Toure for me is a funny one because I think they've given him good playstyle pluses. Obviously, he's got himself the pinged pass to Bruiser. They can be used. I don't think they're bad playstyles. When we look at the rest of them, Travella, Press Proven, Flair, Incisive, Power Shot, Finesse. I mean, I think it's a great card. I think the value's a little bit off. When you look at now the same sort of version of him with the Power Shot, the Bruiser, then you throw in obviously the playstyles like 430. I think he's kind of losing his top meta slot there, really. When we look at the centre mids, when you look at somebody of an absolute top category, it's just one I wouldn't consider for him. I think in terms of playstyle, he's going to be incredible. He's always going to be absolute top, but I think with this one specifically, with the price as well, it's just not. I don't think he's a top meta at this point. When you consider what else we've got, obviously look at the Ethan Mbappe. They did kind of troll us a little bit because we did get Mbappe SBC coming soon, and unfortunately, it isn't quite the Mbappe we want. Even so, it's a nice card. It's kind of one of them ones that is usable. He's got the quick step, he's got himself the chip shot, and then he's got the pinged pass and the tiki-taka. Now, in kind of terms of version I want, both have got the 5-5. Decent amount of playstyles, to be fair, for a centre mid, and then even for a striker, it's not terrible. I would say possibly going into the usable category for me at this point, but then eventually in, well, very quick succession, will be moved into more of a Evo category very quickly. Now, we can't even kind of say that the the 5-star really is a hindrance on any of these cards. As we know, all FUT Birthday cards have them. So then we kind of look for Futra. I absolutely love him in game. I think he's fantastic. Left wing wise, he's very close to not being in this very usable, purely on the fact that we've got so many top left wings. Like, he's got the technical trickster, 165. I think if it wasn't for naturally how good his stats in game and how he plays is, I do think he would drop down in my opinion. Tapsoba, it's a nice variant. I don't quite know why they went for two different centre backs. I could kind of understand going for like a left back and a right back, but they've quite literally gone for two centre backs in this. Now, I don't know the reason for this, if they're going more dribbling orientated. It seems to be they've swapped the physical round and then they've kind of just gave one less passing and one more pace. So it's one of them. I think he's a good card, but centre backs we've got an abundance. And the fact that he's 89, he's going to be very close to an Evo already. I would say usable until then and then be put into an Evo. Pop, decent striker. Again, 91 rated. We've got to be realistic now because there is so many, even in just FUT Birthday alone, the amount of strikers we've got, there is just an excess of them. Like, she's coming in 102k, which kind of tells you a lot for a 91 rated card. I personally would go in just a usable as a striker. Scott as a right back, I'd most definitely go into the very usable, which then kind of leads us into more of the season pass. So if we do go into that, we've got that kind of spanning for the next kind of like few weeks. There is a lot of solid options in here. We've obviously got a few that are World Tour related, but if we go across, if I figure out how we do that, I can just do that, even better. So the first one's going to be obviously versus Florenzi. Well, that's perfect. We've got Florenzi versus Hummels. There is a lot of nice options that you've really got to think about as well. That's the one thing that I do like with this season pass. We get them at season 15. Obviously, it is Florenzi or Hummels. I think both are very good cards. Now, you got to think at level 15, more than likely both of these will be kind of Evo ready. When we look at Hummels, he's got himself the aerial and intercept, and Florenzi's got himself the whipped pass and also the jockey. Now, obviously, with Florenzi, kind of goes into the centre mid with a shapeshifter. At the minute, I'd go usable for both of them. I would say Florenzi at this point would be my choice because the amount of centre backs we've got, but isn't that much difference really between them. We then throw up to Curtis Jones versus, who is it, versus Kone, I want to say. If it's going to let me click it. We've obviously got the Power Shot Pinged Pass versus Finesse and also Tiki Taka. Again, very similar. This one more than ever. I think by the point that we get to level 20, these will be Evo ready. We will have 89s going into the Evo. We've already got an excess of 88s going in. This is going to be in like at least a week, maybe even two. You're going to get 20,000 points. They're going to be in the Evo point by then. Which then, to be honest, leads you on to your Balotelli and Willian. Honestly, it's a very hard choice, and I think it will depend personally on who have you got where. Balotelli's going to be the more nostalgic value for me. Willian would be if I need a winger, and then try and get a triple playstyle eventually, or we get the 86 times free, depending what promo's out. But I think for me, I would probably go with Balotelli, just out of the nostalgic value from him. And to be honest, I think both of them come in quite nice. I wouldn't necessarily say they're going to be crazy amounts, and I'm thinking when they do come out, I know a lot of people will just skip to the end and go, why is Willian in the usable side? He should be very usable. And yes, maybe right now, but no one's getting him within this week at the minimum. Like, he's level 25 for a reason. It's going to be a while, which is then we lead into Renato Sanchez or Kimpembe. Now, like we've already said, we've got a lot of centre-backs. Kimpembe is incredible, nostalgic. Both of them are very nostalgic in what they have. But I do think both of them look incredible. I think Renato Sanchez will have more of the wear because he is going to be very, very usable, and especially with the incisive long ball. If we get a triple, when we do eventually get to level 30, how close we are to Team of the Season, because that is going to be where the triple playstyle plus commences. Meaning, could we get a triple evolution for him? That would take him to that next level. Now, finally, we did get a Capdevia upgrade, but it's going to be a while. 35 levels, we've got the difference between Capdevia and also Nakata. Now, personally for me, Capdevia is incredible. Nakata is the cam. We've already had Maradona. We've had, obviously, Zidane. We've had Bellingham as free cams. I'd probably go for the left-back version. And I know we've got Teo and more than likely a lot of cards since that, well, coming from now. but he's still going to be both very, very useful in and around the box. And Alwaran looks incredible on that level 40. He's a one-off card. I think you can choose other things. Can we choose other things? I want to say we could do, because there was like I want to say it was like an 87 times 15 or something like that for this last one. Let's have a quick little look. Get to level 40. Yeah, there was a few options. We can have either a 15 times 87 or Alwaran. Depending on the promo, if that goes into Team of the Season, which I think what we've got, how many, 39 days, it possibly could. It might be tail end and starting into Team of the Season, but even saving that pack might be worth more than Alwaran. Trickster, Finesse, or Trickster, Power Shot, Rapid. I've got a right wing that could withstand at least another week or two, and that 87 times 15 would be a very, very good pack. It's a potential to be an absolute masterclass to start Team of the Season. Now, obviously, right now, he would be in top meta. You can't get him right now. He more than likely would go into the very usable, but he does have himself the triple playstyle plus. We don't know if by the time we can get him, there is going to be triples just yet. It kind of tells me that would be very close by then. Kulevetsky, or I always say his name wrong, but Kulu. Obviously coming in as right mid, I'd go with more Evo for him as well. He's kind of just there at this point. He's a nice upgrade, and Buemo most definitely would go in there. Espino, I'd probably say the same. I like the rapid intercept combination. As a left back, he's got a chance. Obviously, then we go into a lot of the players we got last week. We've obviously got Haaland, Leao, Griezmann, all putting themselves up there. Bonmati does the exact same. Smith does the exact same. Bellingham, did I put him in there last week? Because I think I probably went into the very usable, but I mean, I could kind of see both. I really like the 89 still, with just an Evo up. He's going to be practically the same card with better playstyle pluses, in my opinion anyway. So I could see the difference. I think if I was to look at this, yeah, I've got him in the very usable slot, which, to be honest, does make sense. And I want to keep consistency with it. I think it personally works. I would go more into the very usable. Then I'd still say the same for Batcher. We obviously got the same, if I can click them. We obviously got Batcher in there as well. Definitely into the very usable. We did actually get Ruben Diaz. He's kind of become one of my new centre-backs for a bit of chemistry with CR7. He works an absolute treat. I wouldn't say he's the top of the top, but he definitely puts in a good shift. Obviously, Salma would be the same. Kelly would be the same. And I think Garnacho is very tail end of this. And then I think from there, we obviously had Thuram. We had Trent. And then also we all had Rabiot, who was very good. And then I'd kind of be looking a little bit further down. Isco, I'd be looking more towards my usable for a lot of these. I think Diaby was one of the kind of cases that we could go into more of a usable side. If I can zoom out a little bit, might help us out that bit more. Duran was actually quite a solid card. He's kind of good for the rating and good for the price, but that's kind of about it. Ruben Neves needs an upgrade, really. And same with Jackson at this point. I think the playstyles don't really help him that much. Same with Guriassi. Unfortunately, these two cards specifically have had massive evos from informs, from player of the months that could have gone way above what this card truly is. Reina was only okay, I must admit. We managed to get him very early on, and he very much was just okay. Which then we lead into a lot of kind of just Evo territory. Obviously, Jota would be the same for there. And there's a few that are just unfortunately going to be into more of the miss. They're okay, but they're not necessarily going to go into anybody's team. If we're being realistic, the league, the nation, it's just not going to link, and you're not going to want to Evo it to the point where you're going to take over somebody else in that 88 to 90 slot. It's just not going to happen. I do like the, what is it, Slovenian or it's Slovenia or Slovakia. The centre mid was actually pretty good, and Rangers doing really well in the Europa. I must admit, going through into the quarters, absolutely fantastic for them. Which we then move into some of the icons now. To be fair to them, there's quite a lot now which are pretty decent in their own regards. Obviously, got a bit of Lineker coming in as a cheap quick step. We've got a bit of Dalglish coming in. Now, obviously with Dalglish, the one thing I don't get, one playstyle plus, I feel like it's got to be a visual glitch or something, because there's no way that he's only got one. Which does make sense now, and why Adeyemi's got two. He has actually got two, it's just a visual glitch on Futbin. Obviously, we have got the chip shot with him instead. So it does mean that Dalglish does come in with the, is that the chip shot as well? Oh, it's the low driven. Of course, I wonder why I didn't recognize that. That is why, in fact, Adeyemi won't have it. That it's not a visual glitch, it's the fact that they don't have the low driven in there yet. That makes a lot more sense to me. To be honest, there's a little bit less adverts in this, which is kind of nice. Honestly, Futbin, what is going on there? But in terms of the rest of the icons then, so Ronaldinho, I think it's quite an easy one. The Beckham, like genuinely, how good is that Beckham? It's a beautiful upgrade for him. Obviously, he's now into more of a centre mid. It's coming in on the low end on his price momentum, which is good at 2.25. But stats wise, that is a beautiful card. You throw an anchor or a shadow on him, you look at that anchor in general, or even just something defensive. You've got himself 96, 88 and 91, already having incredible dribbling, incredible passing, and then the shooting. Some decent array of play styles. That is an icon that we want for Beckham. He is an absolute masterclass. Vieira obviously puts himself in. We already knew this one. And then we've also got the same for a bit of Dalglish as well. He's absolutely incredible. Which kind of leaves us with a few of the kind of mid to lower ones, realistically. If we go over, we've obviously got Campbell, Van Basten, Lineker, Pichon, and also Petit. Now, straight away, Petit was good. He was okay, but I wouldn't say he's anything more than very usable. I'd go Pichon and Lineker more into the usable side, realistically. Obviously, the big thing with Lineker that's different is he has got the low ball, the low driven shot, which actually is not terrible. It's not necessarily my go-to shot, but it's nice to have a different option if you really wanted to. Sol Campbell puts himself into the very usable, and Van Basten would go more into the usable as well, if we're being brutally honest with them. Which then we have some of obviously the lovely heroes. We've already got Yaya Toure, so we'll knock him out because we've already put him in. Which leaves us with Ramirez. Absolutely love him. I think that is where Yaya should have been personally. And we do have the famous trio coming in with their FUT birthday versions as well. Obviously Doumbia with his quick step finesse, outrageously good. We've got quick step Travella and Ababo, and then we also have rapid and trickster with Gervinho. Now Gervinho unfortunately took the absolute lowest straw there, unfortunately. I think he's very good, but that not having the quick step or a decent second play star plus would drop him down in the left wing, in my opinion. I think they absolutely slapped Doumbia and Ababo. They are incredible. Same as Schneider, absolutely brilliant. JJ would come in just under, in my opinion. I think he's nice with the quick step and trickster, but his positioning in a cam is always going to be a little bit slandered because we've got so many cams, so many top end cams, and cams that we got for free as well. Marquisio would be the same, and then I think the likes of Smolarek with his low ball driven as well is going to be more towards in the very usable, and even Carvalho. King, surprisingly, for the price that you're paying, I think Carvalho's kind of around the same sort of price as well, or at least the same sort of level at 100,000. They're solid for what you're getting. Like, for the 100k that you're paying, that's just brilliant for me. Sasic, I really liked, and Govu was exactly the same. It's a shame that they didn't give him even a rapid instead of the trickster. It was a bit unfortunate. Which then leads us with Team 2. We obviously have got the big boy Virgil. I don't think there's any questions beyond that, to be honest. And we've got a lot of them here. You've obviously got the likes of Alaba coming in at 202. You've even got a Harry Maguire. It's a nice upgrade for him. I mean, he's not necessarily going to be in crazy amounts of want. DeMarco, incredible. Gavi, finally a big upgrade for him. And then we even saw a nice upgrade for Gnabry in how cheap he's going to be. For the Bundesliga right-hand side, it's not going to be terrible whatsoever. Now, obviously, Zaire Emery is going to be there as well, and same as Alvarez. I absolutely love Alvarez in this game. I think he's just absolute top draw. I'd go Sammy Kerr 1 under. I'd actually go Zaire Emery up there, to be fair to him. With the playstyles that he does possess, he is definitely a catch that you want to have a look at the absolute minimum. He's well worth every penny that you spend. Quick step, press proven, trickster, tiki-taka, and first touch. The only thing he's kind of missing in my eyes would be a little bit more on the defensive side, but it's why I kind of have him more as a passing box-to-box, more so than the defending and attacker as such, even though the stats-wise do lead towards more of a CDM. We obviously have got the Alaba, we have a Swanson that obviously puts herself in that top category. DeMarco's very close. If it wasn't for the fact that he got dead ball instead of a nice useful one, he'd probably go into that top meta alongside the Alphonso Davies, the Teos, the obviously Karchawi team of the year. We obviously then got a bit of Martinelli, standard card, Musiala with the low driven. It's nice, same as Nico. They're very, very pace orientated, but it's still a little bit off in my opinion. And I think I'll probably go back to the tier list builder on this because this is just very messy. I like the tier list, how it works. So next time there is, after we've got a big amount of these, I'd probably just kind of bring it back down to the normal amount. Essien, I still think is in the very usable category. We got at the lower side, as you see, we got a few that are just okay. I've used Mandanda. Unfortunately, the fact that he's got no Evos as well, he was a bit of a miss. He really didn't have a very good time, in my opinion. Which does leave us with a lot of the low end. Like I say, if they've got the right nation, the right league, you might be able to go Evo and be okay. But realistically, they're just unfortunate that they're not going to be your prime target for Evos. And unless they, like I say, in the Prem, you could argue the case that you would, or at least have the good chance because they do have the 5-5. But a Norwegian from the Bundesliga, unless you are running a Bundesliga team, the likely chance of you choosing him over a Salah, over a Saka, which has got a very good upgrade, very, very slim. Same with Acosta. If he was in the right league, maybe if you want the links to Messi, could be a chance, but realistically, he's not going to be. Let's be real here. There's a few that do go into the usable. I must admit, there's some that really do put themselves in there. I think Paredes would be another great candidate. Kind of a bit below Rabiot in my opinion, but still puts himself about if you're looking for cheaper options. If you're trying to run a full 5-star FUT birthday team, it's not terrible to say the least, but it's just not the #1 option in my opinion. We have Cunha, who had an absolute brilliant card upgrade. He was absolutely fantastic. He was bound to get one at some point, but he's obviously got the 5-5, finesse and chip shot with some incredible pace. Dribbling wise been upgraded, shooting, passing and even physicality, taking a massive upgrade from obviously that 87 we got a long time ago. Now I don't think it puts himself in the mega category, but it puts himself in the very usable. We obviously then have Zaha. Again, if it's the right league, he works, but realistically, he's just going to be one of another amount of left mids and left wings that we have as well. Gnabry is quite an easy one for me. I think very usable in what he's got. And then the same for Gavi. Now, looking at the rest of them, obviously Silva comes in with a new upgrade from the Champions League. I think, was it a man of the match? It's either a man of the match or a road to the knockout/final that she got. It's a nice upgrade. I think for a right back, she's got the right stats, the right playstyle pluses. Puts herself into it, for my opinion. Now, a couple more usable. I think Toon and obviously the Japanese kind of CDM centre mid. It's kind of just there, realistically. Nothing too crazy with them. And then finally, we have got Martinez, who puts himself in. Next time, we will go for more of a tier list builder rather than this. I think it's a bit messy. I didn't realise how many cards they were going to do for FUT Birthday. But just scrolling down the list, this is kind of where I'm going with them. Let me know down below. You agree, disagree? Who's the best FUT Birthday that you've packed? I think there's a lot that you could argue, but in my opinion, this is where I would personally rank them in from top meta all the way down to your kind of misses. And let me know what you think about it.